So let's talk a little bit about the GMTSS. It's one of my favorite subjects. It's something I think all of us who have been in the business a while appreciate. Those of us who are newer may be learning more about, and I'm going to try to share some of that today. And then we'll talk a little bit as well about some of the areas maybe where there's not a strong GMTSS area and what we could do to support that, okay? So let's move into it a little bit. Why is it important? Why is the GMTSS something that's vital to us? I want for all of you who've been in the business a while, I want you to think for 1 minute, what would it be like if there was no training system? What would it be like if there were no local seminars? What would it be like if there was no major conventions? I mean, how many of you got your battery recharged this weekend? Right? A lot of us. I mean, you know, JR is obviously brilliant in the way he's positioned these, because it's sort of like he knew every 6 months we need to come together. And the same is true with the GMTSS in our local areas. So we need to come together because really that's the tangibility of the business, isn't it? Seeing each other, being around each other. For a lot of us, we're building this business, and while we're building it, we're on our own doing it. Or we have a small team, and then suddenly we get together with all these other people who are as crazy as we are, and we feel normal. Am I right? Which makes us understand that everyone else are the crazy people, and we're doing the right thing. So it is vital way of, do you understand there's no other company in the world that has a system like we do? No other company. Other companies do not want teams to get together who don't know each other. And why don't they? Because they're worried people will steal people from other teams. We run a system where we say, you know what? We can learn from other people. We do it with integrity. We're better as a whole than we are as an individual. Would you guys all agree with that? That's right. And that's where our power comes from together. You know, in the beginning, we didn't have this system. And some of the people who are pioneers will remember when JR started bringing this out and doing it. People would drive 5 hours to try to get to a local seminar. I remember a lady in North Dakota who used to drive every other week, Marilyn Fries, who's a director now. You remember, a lot of you remember. She drove, what was it, Chris? 7 hours every other week to go to a UBP. 7 hours. So what we have has made us so special, and we need to appreciate, protect, and really go after this with the GMTSS. I mentioned the tangibility. When you bring somebody to a presentation, interestingly enough, the presentation isn't the most important part. The most important part is taking the time, introducing them to the people, to the teammates. And you know what's great? Nobody knows, as you introduce them to that teacher, or you introduce them to that person that they relate to very well, whether they're on the same team or another team, because we're all working to build the area as a whole. And that's where the power comes in again, is the people with that. And I think we know, we train to retain, don't we? Because when people start, can it be a little confusing in this business? I mean, come on, a lot of you didn't understand the plan the first 6 months. But you go, you show up, and what happens? It gets better, and when you start to understand it, everything starts to become clearer. We call it brighter. We see the light with what's going on. So what are some of the benefits we have with our GMTSS? Well, utilizing a system, a way of doing things. We talked about retaining our teammates so that they learn. Building in other areas. Do you know how difficult it would be to build in another area, a geographic area, if you didn't have a system to plug people into? I think about that all the time. I've got teams all across the United States and the world, and you think about, all I have to do is make a call and say, hey, Trina, I've got somebody coming. Could you take some time and say hello to them. Make them feel welcome. I don't ask somebody to do the work for me, but you know what I ask them to do? Make them feel like they're part of the team there. Introduce them to some other people. Get them involved so they can show up and see what's going on. And you have that at your fingertips everywhere right now. Other benefits. Time is money. You know what I love? You look out at this crowd. Who's got the most leverage right now? Well, JR does, because he's at the top. But that's how you have to think. I've always said, you know, you want to own the room. And the reason you want to own the room, how many hours of training have we had this weekend? I mean, let's say 30, with breakouts, all this. So if you had 4 people here, you have 120 hours of leverage. You have 8 people here, 240. That's what you're working towards. You want that leverage because time is money, and if you don't create the time through the GMTSS, you'll be doing it all on your own. Product distribution system, cross-pollination, which we just talked about, and teamwork to be able to meet with other people to build in other areas. Standardized trainings in certain ways of doing things so we know it. And there is only, guys, there's only one way to do things, and that's the unfranchised way. And I want to make sure we all know it and we follow it. It creates a recognition system. I think recognition is one of the most important things in the world for people, don't you? I mean, so many of us don't get it in other parts of our life, and the GMTSS allows that to become a big part of it. It builds leadership and it builds leaders. People take roles. They take leadership roles to do that. And it creates, again, that camaraderie where we become friends. Some people I know in this business, their best friends aren't even their personal team. They're their teams they've met through the GMTSS and through this business who have become lifelong friends for them. That's right. Yeah. So Andrew mentioned it earlier, but this really is the most powerful business building tool we have. People will say to me all the time, what do you consider the most powerful tool? My fast answer is always the GMTSS. And you look at what we have to put into it to have this. Can you imagine if you had to get it up and going all the time on your own? I mean, I look at it and I say, for those of you who are in areas where you have UBPs, I'm very fortunate. I was taught very early an easy way to do this business. And here's what it was. If there's a UBP, show up. So that was my night to work. If there was a local seminar, buy 3 tickets. That's all it was. UBP, show up. Local seminar, buy 3 tickets. District seminar, buy 3 tickets. Regional, buy 3 tickets. World Conference, buy 3 tickets. International, buy 3 tickets. I like things simple and duplicatable. How many of you could duplicate that? See, because you have to lead where you want your people to go. And you can't pick and choose when you want to do it. You want to make that determination in your mind. It's like going to work. I always looked at it and said, I'm fired if I don't show up. And I didn't want to be fired from my own business, right? And I don't think any of you do. So let's put that into our brains as our way of building in our areas. When you do that, it puts you also start to develop into our training system. So we talked about meetings, but trainings go along with that. And that's in our certified training system, we have our new unfranchised owner trainings, our basic 5 trainings, and our ECCT trainings. Now here, I'm going to make a big recommendation for everybody in the room. This should be ongoing. It should be something we are getting to on a regular basis. It's not a one and done. My wife was a registered nurse for 15 years. Lisa said to me, can you imagine if I'd gone to one training and then tried to help people 15 years later? Yeah, just stick them with a needle. You have to stay updated in everything you do. Everything you do. And that's what we do with our system. And that unfranchised way has to be the same everywhere. There's trainings that are provided for all of us to be able to take and be able to use and know that our people, if I send someone to another area, I know they're being trained. If I send someone to the UK, I know Michael and Lenny and the team are training them the exact same way they'd be trained in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The only difference is the personality of the trainer a little bit, but they're going through the exact same slides. So we want to get back to the basics. Here's what I want. I want everybody in this room, and Jared talked about, we said, can we all go out and sponsor one new person? Can we do that? So when we do that, they're going to need to go through that NUOT, B5, and ECCT. Guess who should go with them? You. You want to go with them, because even if you've taken it recently, because you have a new person, you will hear it differently, I promise you. That's an easy way to make sure you always stay sharp in the business. So those components, when we talk about it starting with you, it starts with one-on-ones, it starts with two-on-ones, it starts with home meetings. Anyone who's ever said, I really want to grow an area fast, what should I do? Get as many home meetings going with as many people as you can, as fast as you can, because the home meetings will lead to the UBPs. The UBPs then will lead to the locals. The locals will then lead to the districts. The districts will then lead to the region. It all works together, but it all starts where? In the home. It all starts in the home. And our bullseye, Steve Harris used to train on this all the time. He called it a bullseye. And he said the bullseye was getting to international convention, getting to the major events. And here's what I want to tell you, and I know you've already done it because you're sitting here. Those 3 tickets you bought, it's great you bought. I'm assuming everyone here bought them. Okay? But now we need to move them. And we need to move them as fast as we can. Our ticket promotion is still going on today and going on through tonight. Some of you may have seen, I was all over every social media group I am, letting them know to get their 3 tickets before they don't have the ability to get them and get that product special. Because I don't want to just buy them, I want to move them. I was sitting there yesterday, I was texting people. Hey, I know you're not here. I love you. I miss you. I don't want you to miss World Conference. I want you to be there. Do you want me to pick up a ticket for you? That's the way you reach out to your team. You don't write them and say, hey, dork, where are you? You let them know that from your heart, you really wish they were here, because I do mean that. Every time someone's not here, I miss them greatly. And you should reach out, right now today, you should reach out to people who are not here and say, hey, do you want me to pick up that ticket for you while I'm here? And as you can see, this all funnels together, and each meeting gets bigger and bigger. And what happens as it gets bigger and bigger? More and more belief comes to you. If you don't believe after yesterday with Lauren and JR going through what they went through, I mean, really, then you're brain dead. So it's not going to work, because they laid it all out. You show me another company where the owners of the company say, hey, we just want to lay our hearts on the line, tears flowing, and show you what we believe in. That's why you have to get your people there, because they have to see it. They can't hear it. They have to feel it. They have to be sitting there. We're going to be starting some university segments. Dennis went through this at our GMTSS meeting on Wednesday, where we're going to have different segments that will be promoted in a 15-minute segment at each local, so you can continue to expand in your business the different categories that we're working in. So look for those coming at local seminars. I want to spend my last couple minutes talking about pioneering a new area, because I know some of you say, that all sounds great, Jim, but I don't have I don't have that system. We want you to have that system. Here's where it starts. It starts with you building. We always follow the growth pattern. So if you say, I want to have a UBP, the best way to get a UBP is to develop and go out and do a bunch of one-on-ones, which lead to home meetings, which lead to so many people that the home is packed, that you say, you know what, we need a bigger meeting to be able to do this. Now, if you think you're close to that now, I'm going to give you an email later in a few slides. I want you to email us. We'll look. We'll see if there's other people in the area we could round up and put together with you. We'll support you. We'll teach you what to do to get an area started. I mean, I remember when we started in our local area, Fred and Barb, you guys probably remember this, Marta's basement, a whole bunch of leaders getting together, and we're saying, okay, we need a meeting system. And we didn't have a big area at the time, so we all just said, hey, we'll throw in whatever we need to money-wise right now to get it started, and let's get this thing going, and then we'll build it from there while we're building, because we wanted a system. We didn't look for somebody to do it for us. You know what we said? We're going to do it. We're going to make it happen. So those of you that are in an area that doesn't have it, I want you to contact us. I want you to say, I want to expand here. What do we need to do? What's the team we can do this with? We'll show you how to form councils, start associations, develop leadership teams, and really get that up and running. But again, I'm going to go back to the key will always be you building, because you can't be a leader if you're not part of the system. And I'm talking to everybody in the room when I say if you want to be a leader in this business, it doesn't mean pioneering an area, it doesn't mean starting an area. What it means is doing all of it. It means when you're in an established area, continuing to show up. You know, I love Gary Rogers to death, and I'll tell you why I love Gary Rogers. He went through one of the hardest things in the world with his daughter, who's doing great right now. But you know why Gary showed up to every meeting? And he said, Jim, sometimes I was just a physical presence. Mentally, I was not there. But he showed up because he wanted to be the proof for other people that the business works. So being part of the system is showing up. The bottom line, we have to work together for everything to come together. I know you know it. I want to encourage you again, get those 3 tickets. If you've got them, start moving them right now. Get 3 more. I want to take it a step further. How many people are going to go for the Chairman's Challenge in here? Okay, Chairman's Challenge. People ask how you build fast. When I started the business, I came to an event. Crazy lady named Elizabeth Weber said, you need to buy 10 tickets. I said, she's making $1 million. I'm not. I bought 10 tickets. She said, you need to go for the Chairman's Challenge. I hit it 9 of my first 10 major events. All I did was set my goal to hit that Chairman's Challenge. I always bought my 10 because that made sure I had my 7 for Chairman's Challenge, and I went after it. I had a goal where I was going, what I was going to do. You can do the same thing. Here's the email. It's gmtss@marketamerica.com. If you have any questions, please email us. We'll respond. I'll call you personally if there's questions that can't be handled through the email. Appreciate you guys so much. It's been a great weekend. Love having you here. And look forward to seeing everybody in Miami. Thank you.